Hi guys, I'm going to talk to you today about the ukulele as a drum kit in your hands. And when I've spoken to many groups about this, I've alluded to the notion that when a drummer is playing, the key two parts of the drum kit that are used, especially in rock and roll, are the ride cymbal, which is playing what amounts to the beat subdivided into eighth notes, and then the snare drum, which gets hit typically on beats 2 and 4. Well, how does that apply to ukulele? Well, if I take my instrument, what I'm essentially doing with my right hand is subdividing, like the ride cymbal, eighth notes. What I'm doing by adding accents on beats 2 and 4 is what the snare drum would do. Now I've got a drum kit. I've got everything I need rhythmically in my right hand using the strings. Even without a chord being played, I'm creating percussion. So I'm going to just lower this a bit so that you can see that I'm taking even eighth notes. That's the ride cymbal. Then adding the 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. And there's the kick on the snare drum. Okay, now, there is a point to the left hand. The left hand is putting down harmonies around a chord that is going to accompany your melody. So in the very simple key of C, then I've taught you about rocking on the chord using the 6th note of the chord. It comes off of the 5th of the chord and hits on the 2 and the 4. The 5th of the C chord is the G string. When I play the 6th, the A note, I'm going from the 5th to the 6th. Hear it? When I go to the F chord, C is the 5th of the chord. I'm going to go to the 6th on the D. So, when I play the G chord, there's the D, there's my E, the 5th of the chord to the 6th, C, F, and the 1. Now I've got the rhythm, the eighth notes even on this cymbal, the 2 and the 4, which is my snare drum. I'm now adding the rocked chord on the 6th of the chord on 2 and 4 to bring out that neat sound. I'm now taking the other chord notes and I'm adding accompaniment. All of a sudden, I've got the full package to accompany a melody line. The voice. Early in the evening, just about supper time, over by the courthouse, is starting to unwind. 4 kids on the corner, trying to bring you up. Willie picks a tune out and he blows it on the harp. Now I've got the melody line being accompanied by a chord, being accompanied by the rhythm of the 2 and the 4 on the snare drum and the even eighth notes. Now, folks, that's the very basic of being able to strum and accompany what amounts to a full musical package. And your drum kit is the part that's the right hand bringing out that tight rhythm. I've got one last hint for you before you go on from this video. If I turn the ukulele this way, you can see how the strings here are where I'm playing. I'm playing at the spot that is, well, as Daniel Ho refers to, the 12th fret is the sweet spot, which would be just up about here. Okay, I'm playing between the sound hole and the 12th fret. I believe that that sweet spot is right about where that ukulele is wearing out. Okay, you see it there? And in fact, when I strum, I'm hitting the strings halfway between the sound hole and that 12th fret. So when I refer to this strum pattern, that's where I'm strumming. But watch, the strum occurs in a semicircle. You see that? That's the pattern that I'm strumming. Well, where my finger hits the 4 strings and skims across them is right at the peak of that arc. When I hit that arc, I'm hitting it on the strings and I'm going across. And what I have to be cautious of is that I'm not hitting the G string too strongly or missing the A string completely. The middle 2 strings are probably going to get a little bit more emphasis, but ultimately I want an even hit across. So I measure that by the way that I create that arc's hit, the hit of the arc onto the strings. And the way that I do that is by, in a very purposeful way, get the G string, come across, get the A string, and then finish the arc. Down on it, up off it, so that I get a nice even strum. And frankly, the other piece of this is that you're hitting just the edge of your finger. It's not the side of it that hits. It's not the front of it that hits. It's the edge. So you literally want to let your finger slide off on that arcing motion. And again, you have your even 8th notes, your snare drum, and then you add your chord and your 6th of the chord to create that neat sound. Enjoy this, play with it, try different music. It doesn't have to be rock and roll, but that whole notion of having a drum kit and being able to accompany a melody line is really, really the essence of how the ukulele is most often used. Enjoy your music making. Thank you.